Good morning and welcome. My name is Marthinsson. I'm one of the founders of Avinode, and I have the privilege today to present a Node talk on why technology will shape the next decade and not new aircraft designs. When we founded Avinode back in 2001, everyone was talking about the very light jets and how they would revolutionize this industry. And the very light jet was actually the embryo for Avinode's existence. Our original idea was actually to build a full booking, platform operations software, even buy 100 of these aircraft to fly air taxi operations in Europe. But this was still during university, and our professor said you need to focus on a segment of the industry that exists today, not build a business on aircraft that might come out in 3 to 5 years. And we know the challenges the initial manufacturers of very light jets had. Eclipse and Sapphire no longer exists. Mustangs, Phenom 100s were latecomers to the game. But they exist today, but it's of course challenged to run so much air taxi that's needed in order to make that model really work. Today, there's a lot of talk about the electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicles. And it definitely brings back flashbacks to the very light jet hype 20 years ago. The promising thing right now is that whereas 20 years ago there were 2 companies involved in it, today there are over 200 initiatives worldwide focused on the eVTOLs. And you could read as recently as this morning that Airbus have done the first test flight. There are other people that have done test flights during the last few weeks. But what's also clear is the big challenge to get this to be a realistic option. It's not just the certification of the aircraft that's going to take a lot longer than the 2 or 3 years that some of these projects expect. But it's also a simple thing like power distribution to these helipads, transportation to and from these buildings, air traffic control, noise, regulations. So while this will happen in our lifetime, don't expect it to change the way we travel in the next decade. But what we see is, of course, with private aviation, the evolution in access that has happened over the last 3-4 decades. In the beginning, the only way you could get access to a private jet was by owning one. Then came the fractionals, where you're allowed to buy a share and thereby get access at a lower capital cost. This was followed up by the jet cards, charter. And today, you have many of the country club in the sky membership models, where you're now down to just paying for a single seat on a private jet. And while considering the high technology in the aircraft that fly around, the overall technology maturity in our industry is extremely low. But all these new ventures, they have a part that's powered on technology that has made it possible for them to expand and grow. So where do we see things happening? There's definitely talk about consolidation in the industry. And sure, there are signs of brokers merging or operators merging. But an even stronger trend is the virtual integration that's happening. Brokers are becoming operators, operators are becoming brokers. You could see that Apollo Jets in the US, a broker, bought Talon Air. They also have a tight cooperation with Wheels Up. You have directional aviation that owns Sentient, Flight Options, FlexJet, now buying Private Fly. And then just a few weeks ago, you had VistaJet's acquisition of JetSmarter being announced after the acquisition that they had done of Exo. So really a consolidation, but more in the vertical space. But our industry suffers a big problem, and that is it's very siloed. The strange thing is that when you talk and listen to pilots, they are readily sharing experiences and ideas and helpful tips between themselves, even if they work for competing companies. I'm on an airmail distribution list in the US, and a pilot was asking for advice, what to do when flying into Costa Esmeralda. And within a minute or two, he was told by another pilot, make sure to turn off your ground proximity warning system because they haven't installed the new equipment. And by the way, there's a great restaurant walking distance from the FBO on the beach called the Treehouse. So they are already sharing information, but when it comes to management teams or the company philosophy, across the industry, everyone is viewing their data, their information as a competitive advantage that they are not willing to share. But this industry is so small that no one is able to really aggregate the data that we need to run efficiently as an industry. For me, it's an enigma that people feel like knowing or thinking that they know about opening hours or landing fees at different airports around the world is a competitive advantage. No one has enough a good data set to really transact on it. Just earlier today, I heard someone tell me that the only way they update their database of airport fees is when they get the latest invoice. And that's when you discover that Shanghai is $12,000, not the $6,000 you paid last time. So we need to get away from the barriers, start sharing. For us, it's sometimes difficult to really engage in deep technology strategy conversations. The number of CTOs and CIOs, I can almost count on 2 fingers if I look at our membership base of 1,300 companies. We don't believe that everyone should go and sell charter online. But we believe that technology is an essential part in the customer experience and the service offering, be you an operator or be you a broker. You need to have technology as part of your strategy. And there are some members that say, well, I don't need a technologist. I mean, I'm paying Avinode for being my CTO and CIO. And I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. We can help you, provide a platform, provide APIs, but we need a partner on the management team. It's your strategy that we together can evolve and make more successful. So make sure that you don't spend just money on iPads for pilots, but actually thinking, what's the overall technology strategy? And we need to go towards a more collaborative environment. It's a shame sometimes to see that all competition is focused on one slim area where there's still so much innovation left in this industry. We very much believe in an open API architecture. We believe that an ecosystem that are building and enhancing each other's services is what this industry needs in order to run more efficiently. If we run more efficiently, we'll be all flying more. More flight hours means more successful operators and brokers. Better bottom lines. For anyone who was at Revolution Aero in the autumn or in MBAA, I spent some time talking about why it's very, very hard to do an Uber for private jets. And what I want to say is, while I think it's hard, it's not impossible. But there's so much that needs to change. And the hard part is not the technology. It's actually the changing mindset across the industry. If we want to create efficiencies, we cannot look at this industry and say we're going to sell charter the same way we have for the last 30 years. It cannot be that the price you give out as an operator depends on who in your sales team picked up the phone. You need to think about how do you scale it, how do you distribute it. Brokers will continue to exist by adding value into the value chain, the customer service aspect. But we just need to, everyone, raise their game and see how do we do this in a repeatable fashion. For Avinode, the technology is one big component. Our biggest asset, except outside of the older noders you see here today, is you guys. The power of Avinode actually sits in the network itself. That network consists today of 7,000 users across the globe. We have 3,500 aircraft that are actively listed in the marketplace. Aircraft where operators say they want charter, not just having them on a certificate. On a monthly basis, there is 600,000 charter requests being sent between brokers and operators. That's 20,000 a day. And it's 1/3 is actually operators that need subcontracting or subchartering when their fleet is occupied or they have an aircraft on ground. And every month we have over 150,000 calls from different apps, web plugins that our members use in order to sell charter to their end client. So all in all, the power of the network, the power of Avinode is due to you guys working with it and continue enhancing it. So for us, it's important to be a driver and an enabler of innovation. That's why our API stack is continuously being built out. You'll see big changes happening on our development portal to make it even more accessible. But our development is not driven by the ideas that we have internally. Our development is driven by the pain points and the feedback that we get from you guys. And that's why we just launched Takeoff Ready. I tend to describe Takeoff Ready as Amazon Prime for air charter. Amazon Prime means 2-day shipping, no additional charge. Takeoff Ready means that the operator have a crew available, the owner isn't using the aircraft, and the aircraft is fully functional and ready to go. Avinode search result includes this information. It's focused on the next 96 hours. It's a unique opportunity for operators to really push the availability that they are looking to sell. And for brokers, knowing that the search result for those aircraft should really be a lot more accurate and a lot more likelihood that you can book it. You'll also see us introducing metrics to show you how reliable the pricing is. But of course, at the end of the day, our aim is really to be able to take this industry to the click to book, out of a B2B perspective. The founding vision for Avinode was that it should be as easy to book a private jet as a commercial airline ticket. We've been doing it now for 18 years, and I can really say that every year we're getting closer and closer. And with Takeoff Ready and some of the other initiatives that we have underway, we are very close to where you as a buyer of air charter, rather than send a request, will come to a point where you actually say that that option is one that I would like to book. So, doing all this isn't easy. I mean, we have an agile methodology. It's about failing fast, disproving or proving your hypothesis as quickly as possible. And we do that with everything we run. I mean, our most recent venture, I mean, it's been running now for 3 years, is Paynode. The vision of Paynode is to be the PayPal for private aviation. 30 to 40% of all the charter requests in Avinode are for trips in the next 72 to 96 hours. Payment in advance with an average sum of $22,600 is a challenge across the industry. Banking hours, chargeback risk on credit cards, etc. So while we have been working away at Paynode, we had to realize our first hypothesis didn't really work. And we are now actively building on Paynode 2.0 to really bring a complete wire solution and foreign exchange solution to market. And we could do a lot of this very quickly. We could build a technology and put a book button years ago. But there's no point in building it if you are not doing it together. A favorite proverb of mine, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And Avinode is very committed to this industry to continue to move us all forward in cooperation. And with that, I'm definitely opening up to any questions that you might have on Avinode's view on the next decade. Thank you very much.